The top two teams in the Mountain West in a packed pit. Lobos atop the Mountain West Conference. Utah State just behind him in the standings. Carter Blackburn, Avery Johnson. That is a turnover by Mason Folslev. He had the first three of the game for Utah State. Unanswered by True Washington. So a pair of threes to get it started, and what should be an action-packed matchup between the Aggies and the Lobos.
And if you notice, Coach Calhoun from Utah State talked about their team needs to manufacture some turnovers. Out of the zone, in transition. Here it is again. Here's another steal.
With the steal and the run, hammered down. The first 5 of the game for Mason Folslev. That was his 58th steal of the year.
And back-to-back steals for Utah State. Priority for Coach Richard Pitino, taking care of the basketball at home.
Mountain West Conference leading scorer, player of the year, favorite Donovan Dent, dumps it off. Washington, there's Joseph. Nice look, Washington to Joseph. Joseph, who is averaging a double-double, the nation's 5th leading rebounder.
And one of the things against the zone, you can't stand around the perimeter and pass the basketball. You have to penetrate that zone, force 2 defenders to pick you up.
Folslev again. Had a hand to his face from the 6'9" board beaching him, but an offensive rebound and a second chance. Folslev attacks. And a red-hot start, the first 7 points of the game for the redshirt sophomore from Benson, Utah.
But Gattarazzi kept the ball alive. Rebounds is going to be another premium here when you're on the road.
New Mexico playing without their 3rd leading scorer, Mustafa Seal, plantar fasciitis in his right foot. Jared Calhoun in his first season at Utah State calls this a streaky team. Shooting, defending, free throw shooting. He hopes they are hot at the right moment today on the road. Richard Pitino now in his 4th season coaching New Mexico, 13th as a collegiate head coach. They have won 14 of 15. Nice pass, Dent to Joseph, rolls off the rim. Offensive rebound, Milicevic drops it off, and Milicevic sticks it back in, and we are even at 7.
And see, this is where the size comes into play for New Mexico compared to last year. Last year they were 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'2 and a half. Now at the wing position, you know, you're 6'9" and 6'10". That size makes a huge difference.
Dent rips it away from Folslev. Donovan Dent on the run, bumped by Martinez. Play on, he got fouled. Dent will head to the free throw line. He excels at getting to the stripe. Steal into offense for the Lobos.
Yeah, pick and roll. This is a pick and roll team. Keeping it alive. Second chance points.
So Donovan Dent, there was a question about his left ankle, but saw him earlier this morning at their shoot-around, said, how's the ankle feeling? He said, great. Not good, but great. So no brace or nothing. He is ready to roll. The only player in the country averaging 19-plus points per game and 6-plus assists per game. And 77% of his points come right here at the free throw line.
Yeah, yesterday at practice, he didn't take any plays off. He was in for every single rep.
Aggressive man-to-man D in the backcourt from New Mexico, trying to speed the Aggies up. Both these teams average 9-plus steals a game. Drake Allen in to run the point. It's point guard by committee for the Aggies. Joseph hedges out. Tucker Anderson rolled his ankle in the first meeting February 1 in Logan. Martinez kicks it out. Shot clock winding down. Here's Drake Allen. Long, deep 3. Drake Allen right off the bench.
And that's a plus for Utah State because Drake Allen, you know, in terms of his role, he's more of a passer. They don't really lean on him to knock down threes.
Milicevic has hit some big ones, including earlier this week versus Wyoming when Lobos had to come back to beat the Cowboys for a second straight time. Here's Martinez in the paint. Dumps it off. Rejected by Dent. He gets the block on Templin, but Templin stays with it. And an open look that goes down. So back-to-back threes by Drake Allen. They're going to call that one a long 2.
Yeah.
Foot on the line. So make it 5 straight rather than 6 straight for Drake Allen.
Right, if you'd have told Coach Calhoun when he woke up this morning that Drake Allen's first 2 shots were going to be, you know, 2 threes.
And there's the first field goal for Dent. Pulls up on Folslev.
But again, this is what we expected. Two high-octane offenses. They're playing true to their identity. They just do it in somewhat different ways.
Allen on the roll, ripped away by True Washington. Sending the Lobos on the run again. Dent hard to the hole, switches to the left and gives the Lobos the lead. Six early points for Donovan Dent.
Carter, that Dent move got me out of my seat, and we're early in the first half. You might have to boat me down the rest of the game.
It was like you switching left to right. Martinez hits the deck, lost it, scooped up by Allen, who recovers and finishes. Drake Allen leading the way off the bench for the Aggies. He had 14 in the first meeting on 3 made threes. That was, the Aggies in the first meeting were just 5 of 31 from 3.
Here's another steal, open.
Rips it away, lob ahead, Allen with 2 hands. Get up, Drake Allen.
Drake, I didn't know you had that one in your game. The two-handed takeoff. He said, but coach, I'm 6'4".
All of their points have come from Allen and Falslev. 9 off the bench for Drake Allen on a perfect 4 for 4 shooting.
And you'll notice New Mexico is really trying to pick and roll the zone.
Nolan left alone, spins out. Milicevic lost it out of bounds. It was touched by the Aggies. New Mexico ball. Aggies by 3. For those of you watching our free streaming coverage, it will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us by going to cbssportsnetwork.com/channel finder. $16 points for the Aggies. The first 7 were from Mason Falslev. Then 9 straight for Drake Allen, and it's the Aggies by 3. Carter Blackburn with the General Avery Johnson here at a packed pit. And what a great one in the Mountain West Conference. Top 2 teams and a rowdy atmosphere here in Albuquerque.
It's very exciting. The energy in this arena is just incredible. This is an iconic arena, and man, the fans, if you wanted a ticket to this game, you can't get one. Good luck.
Been sold out for weeks now. As we take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Stanley Steamer.
Yeah, the Utah State limit. You got to limit your turnovers on the road. Transition defense. New Mexico is one of the best transition offensive teams. I think New Mexico's got to make some threes, especially against that zone. They were 7 for 22 against the 3 at Utah State, and then steals. New Mexico's got to get some steals, create some turnovers.
Well, mission accomplished for Mason Falslev, only player in D1, 14+ points, 6+ rebounds, 3+ assists, 2+ steals, and he's off to a red-hot start for the Aggies today.
Yeah, Utah State, they 4 points off New Mexico turnover. Same thing with New Mexico. They have 4 points off of Utah State turnover. So who's going to take care of the basketball?
Talked to Mason yesterday about how tight this team is. 7-1 on the road. The road wins at St. Mary's, San Diego State, and Nevada in 3 straight road games. He said, you know what I can say about this team? No jerks. We don't have anybody selfish on this team, and that's very much the character of the Aggies. Out of the timeout, Washington gets a pass from Dent. Joseph can't follow. Washington grabs it. No reset of the shot clock. So Dent against the matchup zone that Jared Calhoun says he got from Ralph Willard, the former Rick Pitino assistant. Joseph gathers, shot clock winding down, and it is a shot clock violation. The horn didn't go off, but that's a shot clock violation. Yeah, the horn did not go off, but shot clock violation, says Jason Phillips.
I don't think the ball touched the rim. That's a good piece of officiating there.
Close, but didn't hit the rim. So I think the shot clock was reset to 20 on the Joseph attempt, but it should not have been.
Right.
And looked like our officiating crew, Mike Littlewood, Jason Phillips, Michael Irvin got that one right. Anderson, triple. Tapped out. Got it away from Joseph, but Washington quickly into the front court. That foul is on the floor.
Utah State's going to have to make a decision on those lone threes. How many players do they want to send to the offensive glass? Because if you can't offensive rebound, hey, New Mexico is going to be a track meet.
New Mexico was 3rd in the nation in fast break points. Ken Palm adjusted tempo. They are 4th in the nation, but their defense has been underrated. Dent splits the double at the top and floats it. On the early 8 points for Donovan Dent.
Man, the elevation, the ball placement on that drive. That's why he's obviously my Mountain West Player of the Year right now.
Falslev into the paint, threw it away. Looking for Anderson on the wing. Dead ball turnover. That is already 4 turnovers by Utah State.
Spacing wasn't very good, but here the spacing was great. Beautiful drive by Dent. No shot blocking or last line of defense by Utah State.
And the Aggies' Tuesday win over Colorado State, they had only 6 turnovers. Not even 8 minutes into this one, 4. Borovichinen at the high post, feeding Joseph, turns around. Rolls out, Borovichinen couldn't corral the offensive rebound. Utah State ball.
And if you notice, with Nelly Jr. Joseph, they're making the decision that they're going to double team him and try to force him into being a passer when he catches that ball on the post.
So even in a matchup zone, you're doubling the post.
Yes. Keep your eyes on that one, Carter.
So Ali Atiki into the game for New Mexico as Joseph will get a break. That stays on the floor. Rarely leaves for the Lobos. Allen to a trailing Martinez. Swatted away. Dent gets the block. Donovan Dent doing it with D. And now off the window. Rebound Utah State. Aggies bring it back. Martinez nearly lost the handle on the outlet. Allen rims out Borovichinen in the rebound.
And great attention to detail by Dent. He understands that Ian Martinez is hot from 3. He's their best player, leading scorer. We're not going to leave him open for anything.
Dent floats it, looking for a call, didn't get it. That has been one of the main coaching points for Richard Pitino, is playing through no calls early for Donovan Dent. Martinez crosses over. Nice move, couldn't finish. Foul called. Foul was on Templin. So after the hot start by Allen and Falslev, Utah State still clinging to a 1-point lead.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. By Stanley Steamer. It's not clean until it's Stanley Steamer clean. And by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
New Mexico today celebrating the 77-78 Make It Happen Lobos, as they were known, who averaged 97.5 points per game before the 3-point line under Norm Ellenberger. Marvin Johnson, who was in the house, scored 24 points per game. He was a 2nd-round pick. Michael Cooper, who's now in the Hall of Fame, was actually a 3rd-round pick off that team. They won the WAC 13-1 that year in conference play.
I think back then, Carter, there were about 7 rounds for the NBA draft, and for Cooper to go 3, and now he's a Hall of Famer, 5-time NBA champion. Man, I had a chance to play against him a little bit. Phenomenal player.
So that's why the Lobos have the retro jerseys, and Donovan Dent has made that 77-78 team proud. 8 points, 2 blocks, and a steal. Milicevic misses the 3. He had the clinching 3 against Wyoming. Gets it back on the offensive rebound from Atiki. Milicevic fighting inside. Martinez rips it away. It's a steal by Ian Martinez, sending the Aggies on the run.
You can't really expect the referees to bail you out. You got to play through it. Until you hear a whistle, you got to play on.
Martinez has yet to score. He's their leading scorer, averaging 17 a game.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2 from the field.
He was only 2 for 7 in the first meeting. There's a 3 from Martinez, right on cue.
Yeah, right on cue, right on time. And I like how he's not really forcing anything. He's going to let the game come to him.
Borovichinen, the junior from Serbia, who started his career at Arizona, but he has blossomed as a Lobo.
Yeah, I love Borovichinen game.
Off the shot fake, Borovichinen leans in. Martinez may have gotten a piece of that one too. Cano has the rebound.
Yeah, and that's the ones that Coach Pitino wants him to move. Talked about it yesterday. Move that one and let's try to allow somebody else to hit the gaps and get a better shot. Mismatch here inside.
Gateretse turns, and offensive foul called on Gateretse. That is his second consequential foul. He gave Noland a pop. Second with 9:38 to go in the first.
Yeah, and when you're that deep in the post and you're going up against a mismatch, you don't really have to do anything. But here's Martinez coming off the screen. This is a ball movement, player movement, screening offense. Similar to what Golden State Warriors, the way they play. You know, limited, very limited in pick and rolls.
That's a high compliment.
Yes.
And we're going to get a review to make sure there was nothing flagrant on Gateretse as he popped C.J. Noland. So Richard Pitino has asked to have a look at the monitor to see if there's anything
The preceding
flagrant.
action is under review.
Left shoulder. I think that contact was incidental. I don't really see anything there.
So by the rule book, personal one is a personal foul that is deemed excessive in nature. Noland is going to head up the ramp and to the New Mexico locker room. The Lobos are already without their third leading scorer, Mustafa Omsil, out for the second time in 3 games. Plantar fasciitis, right foot. His status would be day-to-day for the Lobos moving forward, but you're already without Omsil, and now Noland, who's been a terrific 6th man for New Mexico, is headed to the Lobo locker room.
Yeah, and when you're talking about Noland, he had 12 points in their game against Wyoming on Wednesday, playing 30 minutes. So when you have a guy that productive, you know, that can play 30 minutes and get you 12 points and, you know, 2 for 6 from 3, this would be a huge loss.
Well, whether this is flagrant or not, it's going to be second personal on Gateretse.
The common foul stands. No flagrant foul.
Think they got that one right?
Oh, yeah, just what we thought. That's why the review was really quick.
But Gateretse, who averages 4 rebounds a game, he's a key for Utah State. They're already -4 on the boards, the Aggies, and Gateretse's going to sit for a while with 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, and right now, Utah State can survive a little bit without Gateretse.
Borovichinen deep 3. Lobos pulled back within 1.
Yeah, Borovichinen, he's been cold, Carter. He's been 0 for 9 from 3 in his last 6 games.
Martinez left alone. Can't take advantage. Fight for the rebound. It is an all-out fight. Won by false left. Drops it off. Acano. Washington got it at the rim. Dent runs the Lobos. Drops it off. Joseph attacks. Martinez rips it away. Into the hands of Washington, who's fouled on the stick back. It is a fight atop the Mountain West between the Aggies and the Lobos.
Yeah, and just when you think you're open for a layup, something happens. The Borovichinen, nice job spreading this zone out. We talked about how they need to make 3s against this zone. But man, I believe it was Drew Washington that got this block on this end to really ignite that break.
And now a second consequential foul. Carson Templin has just picked up his second. So the 2 centers who play the bulk of the minutes for Utah State, Alban Gateretse and Carson Templin, both now have 2 personal fouls. Meanwhile, the Lobos have not committed a single team foul. And the next one puts the Lobos in the bonus. Just under 9 minutes to go in the half.
Yep, 16 fouls to 0.
Neither of these teams have been great at the free throw line. But that will factor in as Washington gives New Mexico the lead.
But at the same time, I know Utah State's fighting some early foul trouble with their big guys. But to be down 1 on the road, this got a lot of great basketball left in this game.
Acano draws 2 defenders, kick out. Johnson 3. A 7-footer with a touch from outside, boarded by Joseph. Dent drops it off to Washington.
And watch how New Mexico tries to overload this zone. That's Borovicin's spot right there on that right wing.
And they will screen the top of the zone, too.
Yep.
Ripped away by Pulslev. Another terrific defensive play from Mason Pulslev.
Now Utah State gets into their dribble handoff. You mix in a little pick and roll.
Spinning. Johnson. Foul called. First foul called against the Lobos as Johnson takes it off the bounce. It is on Milicevic, his first. So a 1-point lead for the Lobos, doing it with D. Oh, it is mid-February, so time to load up your brain with talk of quads and net and out-of-conference SOS. If you're confused by all of these numbers, you're not the only one. We show you all these numbers to point out that home and road, we're excluding neutral court games so far, home and road in conference play, it can differ for different teams, so it boils down to this. Because Utah State's on the road in this game, it's a quad 1 game for the Aggies. Home game for the Lobos, it's quad 2. And throw in this wrinkle, New Mexico woke up this morning and had a quad 1 win because Colorado State got bumped up to 71 in the net. So that now means that New Mexico, the at-large tournament resume, they are now 3-1 in quad 1 games. The worst loss, New Mexico State, that's quad 4. They were the only at-large team projected in the bracket who has a quad 4 loss, but they've responded. Projected as a 9 seed, Utah State right now projected as an 8 seed. They have 3 quad 1 wins, all on the road. This would be a monumental 4th.
And the main thing is always taking care of business. The quad 1 win, look at Utah State here. You know, obviously they had that loss against UNLV, but man, at St. Mary's, at San Diego State, I mean, this team is well positioned right now, solid with Jerry Palm with this 18.
Those 3 wins in December with 3 games in a row on the road. At St. Mary's, at San Diego State, and they come back from 18 down, and then at Nevada. Just hanging on to a top 75 net rankings. That remains a quad 1 win.
And this is a conference in the Mountain West that had 6 teams in the NCAA tournament last year.
Dent fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. And just a note on that, with the projections with the Big 5, including the Big East, gobbling up almost all of the at-large, the fact that the Mountain West Conference right now projected to get 2 at-large, that's a win in this year's college basketball landscape. Dent already with 8 points, 2 block shots, and a steal. Misses the first. CBS Sports Network's coverage of college hoops continues tomorrow at 7 Eastern as Bucknell hosts Lehigh in a Patriot League showdown.
Utah State, they've been a little cold. You know, they started off shooting 7 for 10. They're 1 for 8 since starting 7 for 10. So we'll see what they can generate a quality shot here.
Already 6 lead changes and 6 ties. Good pass on to Martinez, but Dent was there with them on the catch. So Johnson launches again. 0 for 2 from 3 for the big man.
I still think when that ball is reversed, instead of holding the ball, Martinez has got to make a quicker decision.
Milicevic finds Joseph. Late double, takes the bump, earns a trip to the free throw line. A little late on the double, and Joseph tried to take advantage.
And one more little tidbit here about practice. On yesterday, the first thing Coach Richard Pitino said in practice, Nelly Jr. Joseph, demand the ball and make a quick move. He said, if you don't demand the ball and make a quick move, we're not going to have a chance to win this game.
He has 13 double-doubles this year, Nelly Jr. Joseph, who began his career playing for Rick Pitino at Iona. So 7th most in the nation. Oscar Clough from South Dakota State now has 18 double-doubles in the game that preceded us. Joseph gets them both. Lobos by 2. It has been tight through the first 13 minutes here in a sold-out pit.
And watching this on this possession,
Pulslev spins, rims out, ripped by Joseph.
And that's the key. They really wanted to get Falsliv a shot, a good look.
Borovicinen launches. That's an air ball saved into the hands of the Aggies. Cano brings it back. Albury attacks and gets a foul on the floor. Just the second team foul on the Lobos. First on Donovan Dent.
But you can really tell with this Utah State's offense, which is just so beautifully constructed by Coach Calhoun. Multiple ball handlers. Unlike most of the teams in the Mountain West, where they have one ball-dominant player, multiple players for Utah State. Touch it, move it.
5th in the nation in assists.
Very efficient.
Falslev had the first 7 for the Aggies, hasn't scored since. Johnson backing down Appelhans, who's right into the game. Joseph couldn't hang on. Johnson, step back, got fouled. Earned a trip to the free throw line. Boy, that's a rare one by Joseph where he couldn't corral the defensive board.
And Johnson thought he had a little bit of advantage there. Fighting for the ball.
So that's the first on Joseph. That sends Isaac Johnson to the line. And here's where we point out our friend Jeff Grammer. Albuquerque Journal has the great stat that New Mexico leads the nation in free throw defense. That's a deep one.
Yep.
I mean, he's joked all year long about how Richard Pitino's team has put in defensive practices against their opponents at the free throw line. But it is pretty crazy. Teams are only shooting 64% from the free throw line against the Lobos, but here are the Aggies, a perfect 4 for 4 to start.
And Utah State, with their foul trouble with their bigs, they need Isaac Johnson to step up. He only played 3 minutes in their last game.
Dent flips it to Washington. Pulls up for a long 2. Falslev nearly got a piece, and now he flies in to get the rebound. Mason Falslev, Drake Allen, running point again for the Aggies. 9 points and an assist already off the bench for the 5th-year senior captain for the Aggies.
They want Johnson to catch the ball. He's a little confused.
Falslev off the bounce. Misses again. Fights for the offensive rebound. Follows his own miss and now shoots for 3 and buries it. Mason Falslev sticks with it. Timeout, New Mexico. Richard Pitino upset at True Washington for allowing Falslev that bucket. 10 in the first half. Aggies by 3. We step aside for 30. The former Utah State ball boy, Mason Falslev, look at his line. 10 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and 3 steals, and he did not quit on this play at all.
You know I love scrappy. I love guys that are a little bit undersized. You know, he's not your 6'7" wing player. You know, Falslev 6'3". This kid plays tenacious defense, leads the Mountain West in steals, 13th in the nation in steals. He rebounds the basketball for his size, averages a little over 6 rebounds a game.
Into Joseph, that's tipped away by Johnson. And the best recruiting job by Jared Calhoun was keeping Mason Falslev, whose name was in the portal after Danny Sprinkle went to Washington.
Yeah, Coach Calhoun talked about re-recruiting Falslev, and Coach Pitino talked about how Donovan Dent was very loyal in returning and coming back to New Mexico.
Such is the nature, retaining your roster even in a coaching change. That was what Jared Calhoun said. First 42 days, they met with everybody they could as often as they could. Milicevic, offensive rebound, and a foul on Isaac Johnson. Milicevic on the offensive glass.
And you notice on that last timeout, all of the coaches for New Mexico was upset after Falslev scrambled and got that offensive rebound and made the 3, and now they gave Utah State some of their own medicine.
And another big foul against the Aggies as Isaac Johnson has picked up his 2nd. So all 3 of the Utah State big men who play, Gadaretzi who starts, Templin off the bench, Johnson off the bench, they all have 2 personal fouls.
But again, it's 19 fouls to 3.
15,500 plus to their feet at the pit. Falslev lost it, rolls it out to Johnson, who stays in the game with the 2. Johnson nearly threw it out of bounds. Nice play by Olbrey just to handle it.
Got to get the ball out of the corner here.
Milicevic has him trapped. Shot clock winding down. Akano has to heave it. That is a shot clock violation. It was clearly missed the rim. It's just a question of whether the Lobos could run, but it's dead ball shot clock violation.
Yeah, that's as discombobulated as you'll see Utah State's offense in that situation. That's a rare situation. Spacing was bad. They were kind of, in that deep trap down there. Not a great place because you got the baseline and the sideline. Those are like 2 other defenders.
The top 2 scoring teams in the Mountain West, but neither explosive so far. Borovichinen has another offensive rebound. Throws it away, though. Scooped up by Drake Allen. Runs ahead to 10. Rims out. Falslev, stick back, got fouled. Mason Falslev earns a trip to the free throw line with another hustle play for the Aggies.
And see, that's why you never give up on a fast break when you think it's just 1 against 1. But no, you don't give up on it here. Falslev's sticking with it.
And a nice little sportsmanship moment between Drake Allen and Donovan Dent, saying nice hustle end to end. Falslev, who grew up a Utah State Aggie fan, talked about the thrill of going to the Spectrum and just getting dapped up by J.C. Carroll after games in the Stu Morrill era. He's 23 years old, served at Church Mission, and now starring for the Aggies in his redshirt sophomore year. Danny Sprinkle started him every game last year after a redshirt season, but he has exploded in Jared Calhoun's system.
And remember, in the first matchup at Utah State, this game was pretty tight for 28 minutes. And then New Mexico just exploded and went on a crazy run to finish that game. And Utah State's defense has been suffering in the second half of games.
Washington passes on the 3. That was a 43-15 run in that game. Washington misses the 3. Joseph couldn't corral it, but it's out of bounds off the Aggies. So Lobo basketball, Aggies by 2. 12 in the first half for Mason Falslev between the top 2 in the Mountain West. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, and Jay Wright standing by in our New York studio. Get you up to date on today's college basketball action. We'll also get Avery's Mountain West Player of the Year candidates coming up on AT&T at the half. All right, Avery, what were your biggest takeaways from the bracket preview?
Well, with the bracket preview, you got to keep your eyes now on Houston and Texas A&M, specifically Houston. I think they still have a chance, both of those teams, to maybe move up to the 1 line, especially with those teams beating up on each other in the SEC.
Houston, 5 of the 6 remaining regular season games are quad 1. Texas A&M, 4 of their 6 remaining in the regular season are quad 1. And oh, by the way, St. John's and Creighton doing battle at the Garden atop the Big East, with Rick Pitino trying to stay atop the Big East. And here at Albuquerque, Richard Pitino, his son, trying to stay atop the Mountain West Conference. Great effort so far from Donovan Dent and Mason Falslev.
But man, we have some coaches that have really
got a foul called here.
Yep.
There we are atop the Mountain West Conference. New Mexico, who won the Mountain West Conference tournament last year, against Utah State, who won the Mountain West Conference regular season last year.
And San Diego State, they've done it a different way this year with a couple of young guys, freshmen in the lineup. Normally they've banked on these transfers, but they've gotten a whole lot younger with some key guys that they lost over the last year or two.
Looked good in the win last night against Boise State. Isaac Johnson just picked up his 3rd personal foul. So Isaac Davis, the 6'8" freshman from Idaho Falls, Idaho, into the game now for Utah State. He averages only 4 minutes played per game, but with 3 now on Johnson, 2 on Gadaretse, and 2 on Templin, Isaac Davis will have to play big minutes down low for the Aggies.
They're just saying, Isaac Davis, Not Isaac Hayes. Just get us through these last 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Although we got some soul.
Yes.
As part of the retro night before tip here at the pit. Falslev gets on the deck. It was tipped away. Falslev on the floor. Tie up. Possession arrow will give it to the Lobos. Cannot say that these two aren't giving it their all.
It's always the first man to the floor. See, this is, again, that size from New Mexico. It's hard to really post up New Mexico's wing players. They're too long.
Already 8 ties, 8 lead changes. Largest lead for either team was Utah State by 4. Washington thought about the 3. Falslev with him there on the catch. So Washington backs in, poked away, recovered. Borovichinen up and a foul called. That's on Isaac Davis, his first.
When you're playing a 2-3 zone, there are cracks in the zone. There's about 5 different lanes that you can drive in a 2-3 zone. You can't hold the ball above your head and wish and hope that the defense guards you. So True Washington was magnificent in terms of the way he cracked the code with one of those lanes against that zone.
Borovichinen rims out from the free throw line. From Serbia, his dad Darko watches every game, no matter what time it is in Serbia. So a big hello to Darko. Jovan Milicevic, although he grew up in Toronto, is of Serbian descent too, so they speak the same language. In fact, heard him earlier today in warm-ups both speaking Serbian. Got a lane violation. Lane violation allowing Borovichinen a 3rd free throw after he missed the first 2. Martinez stepped over.
And it's amazing how kids, when they transfer and the light turns on in certain programs, you know, he played 2 years at Arizona, you know, coming off the bench, and now he's in the lineup for an NCAA tournament team in New Mexico.
But he misses the 3rd.
Yeah.
Talk about a missed opportunity. Tie game. Borovichinen goes 0 for 3 from the line.
Yeah, you just got to move on to the next play.
Martinez only 1 field goal, gets to the hoop, gets to the free throw line. Ian Martinez. So a quiet first half, only 3 points on 1 made 3, but he has double-digit scoring in every game this year.
Now this is a guy, Ian Martinez, that we expect to make his free throws. He's 87% on the year.
Although he had a slump too. He's only 2 for 7 in the previous game against the Lobos from the line. 2nd best in the Mountain West, knocks down the 1st. Only Jaden Henley of UNLV, better free throw percentage-wise than Ian Martinez. Played at Utah, Maryland, but last year as an Aggie, a career year, and he has bettered it as a 5th-year senior. Well, points for Falslev, 9 for Dent, the Mountain West Conference leading scorer.
And if you're New Mexico, with Utah State having 10 team fouls, you do not want to settle for bad shots.
Got a foul called, looks like it is on the floor. 2nd foul on Mason Falslev, and the fouls are really stacking up now for Jared Calhoun's Aggies, but he is not going to make a move to get Mason Falslev off the floor. 2 fouls with 2:38 to go before the half.
I would call that a little risky.
Joseph makes it a 1-point game again.
And we've had this conversation.
Right.
It's all dependent on the player, your relationship with him, how you trust him, how he's performed in the past when he's, you know, gotten 2 fouls late in the first half. So we'll see.
But it was definitive from Calhoun when one of his assistants told him 2 on Falslev. He shook his head, not taking him out. Joseph gets them both. New Mexico +4 scoring as Utah State's fouls rack up in the first half.
And when New Mexico's back on offense, you want to seek out where Falslev is in that Utah State's defense. Try to force him to pick up that 3rd foul.
Anderson launches the 3 and buries it over the 6'10 Milicevic.
Let me tell you something now. This kid, this 6'9 sophomore, he can flat out shoot the basketball. He's been in a little bit of a shooting slump. His parents are here. I had a chance to talk to his mom and dad. His mom, Sheila, played for Pat Summitt at Tennessee. So it's in his genes, and he can really light it up.
Won 2 national titles with the Lady Vols. The first 2 lady titles with the Lady Vols. Then Sheila Frost. She's still top 10 Tennessee scoring all these years later. That's the second foul on Isaac Davis.
I told Miss Sheila yesterday, I said, you and I might be the 2 best players in the gym.
I think you still have some NIL available, Avery. It was not handed out in your days at Southern.
I wish it would. Oh, my gosh.
Nor in Sheila's days in Tennessee. I think she would rack them up.
So we were just having some dreams.
But it was fun to be a fly on the wall, listen to you 2 talk basketball.
Great.
So the Lobos now 14 points from the free throw line here in the first half because of all of that foul trouble, including now on Isaac Davis. So all of the big men have 2+ in addition to 2 on Mason Falslev.
And you have limited possessions now with 1:45 to go. You got to have quality possessions.
Allen hard to the hole, hits the stanchion hard. He has 11 first half points off the bench. Washington fires a 3 over Falslev. Joseph tries to run it down. It's Atiki who picks it up. And now out of bounds. It was Atiki who ran that one down. Another foul against the Aggies. 3rd on Isaac Davis.
Yeah, beautiful drive here by Drake Allen. Man, he's showing some high-level athleticism. He came off the bench, knocked down a 3, and he's continued to shoot the ball extremely well and just make plays coming off the bench. And Utah State's bench is outscored New Mexico's 15-0.
Atiki is now 8 for 19 from the free throw line this year.
And then offensive rebounds. New Mexico, what is that, 11 offensive rebounds?
That's correct. However, on the offensive glass, they have only 9 second chance points off of 11 offensive rebounds. That's a lot of misses on second chances. Washington hedges out. Martinez fakes it. Shot fake. Atiki fouls him. Count the bucket. Chance at a 3-point play for Martinez.
That's why Martinez is such a savvy scorer. He understood that the defender went for this shot fake. Watch the shot fake here. There it is. And now, beautiful playing through contact.
Well, his last game at the pit, he hung 22 on the Lobos with 4 made threes. So he has heard the boos from the New Mexico fans and played through them. He now has 6. Make it 7 with the 2 free throws from Martinez. Largest lead for either side.
Yeah, that was smart because Atiki
taken away.
Shot blocker.
Allen. Martinez finishes it off. And the Aggies, playing through all of the foul trouble, have a 7-point edge on the road at the pit. Washington off the bounce. Fouled on the way up. That's on Martinez. Washington to the free throw line.
We talked about it earlier when we attended Utah State shoot-around. We said, you asked Coach Calhoun, what's one of the big keys for your team defensively? He said, we have to manufacture some steals.
And we have a major correction. That last foul call was not on Martinez. It was on Mason Falslev, and that is his 3rd with 45 seconds to go. So now Falslev forced to the bench. So you roll the dice, leaving him out there with 2, and now 3 Aggies have 3 personal fouls, headlined by Mason Falslev.
And that last steal was Utah State's 7th steal.
Washington, what a performance by Utah State. We talked about how they're 7-1 on the road. The only road loss at UNLV. Their 3 best wins of the year are on the road. They have played through adversity to hold what's now a 6-point lead, but Washington takes it away. Steal by True Washington to the rim, missed it, foul called, going over the back. Sacco called for the foul for the Lobos.
And I was just thinking on that last possession, that would have been a great time to do like a little old NBA style 2-for-1, but when you turn the ball over, you can't execute on it.
Davis to the free throw line.
But man, this is why I love college basketball. This crowd, these two teams going at it, very entertaining game. You can feel, I know you can feel it, the hair standing up on your head. You can feel the intensity in the pit.
Woo. And yet the Aggies are playing right through it. And here's Davis, the freshman. Again, he's only played 16 minutes in the last 11 games. Davis is 7th and 8th made free throws on the season. So he steps up, hits them both. 8-point lead, largest for the Aggies on the road, and the pit is a lot more quiet than it was before tip.
Yeah, and if you New Mexico with this possession, you want to start your action with about 10 seconds on the shot clock here, and maybe get a shot off with about 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's Dent off the screen from Joseph. Crosses over, attacks, off the window, perfectly executed.
Couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Allen, half-court heave. So Utah State has the lead at the half, 42-36, but Donovan Dent with the bucket to close it.
Beautiful execution here. Nice little running right-handed hook shot by Mr. Dent, double D.
That is the end of the first half with the score. Utah State 42, New Mexico 36. After the break, we'll send you to Adam and the gang in New York, AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. The 1977-1978 WAC champion New Mexico Lobos, the nation's leading scoring team that year, honored at halftime. Marvin Johnson, the star of that team. They could use him right now because the Lobos shot under 35% in the first half. In a battle of the top two teams in the Mountain West Conference, Utah State has the 6-point edge. Carter Blackburn, Avery Johnson. What does New Mexico need to do in the second half to take advantage, especially of all the foul trouble for the Aggies?
Yeah, New Mexico leads Mountain West play with 14-10-0 runs. They need a big run here in the second half. This game was close at Utah State in their first matchup, but then New Mexico took over. And the reason why they have the opportunity to take over is because of Donovan Dent. This guy is just totally amazing on both ends of the floor. He breaks the defense down. He plays at his own pace. 19.5 points, 6.5 assists, and then Drake Allen. Man, this kid came off the bench, knocked down his first three, and then he did a magnificent job of breaking down the defense from all different spots on the floor, which gave Utah State a huge lift as they're fighting foul trouble with a lot of their bigs.
5 players for the Aggies with 2 or more fouls, headlined by Mason Falslev, who has 3 personal fouls, got his 3rd in the last minute of the first half. But as the Aggies and the Lobos head back onto the floor, Mason Falslev will begin the second half on the floor for Utah State. So it was the Aggies who were cold shooting in the first meeting in Logan when they were 5 for 31 from 3. Lobos cold shooting in the first half, but they have been terrific on offense in the second half. Aggies have struggled on defense in second halves in the last 4 games. That was the #1 thing Jared Calhoun told us. We have to play better defensively in the second half. Martinez gives them a start for Utah State. First 2 of the second half puts them back up by 8.
And their first bucket was a drive to the basket. It wasn't a contested 3. Points of emphasis coming out of the locker room is to score in the paint for Utah State to start the second half.
Joseph teed up by Gatoretzi, who's playing with 2 personal fouls. He's at the last 9:38 of the first half, but he's in there to D-up Nelly Jr. Joseph on the first possession for the Lobos.
Yeah, Gatorexi, he should be energized in the second half.
Albury hangs and hits. How did he finish that off of 1 foot?
Could have been a borderline travel there.
It was close. First double-digit lead for either side. Washington, and one, counted, and a chance at a 4-point play. Foul on Martinez. Washington hits it through the contact.
This should be New Mexico's ball right here. Yeah, that was on
you're right.
Gatorexi.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's on Gatorexi rather than Martinez. So count the 3 New Mexico ball, right,
Yeah,
Avery?
he was in a tussle situation with Nelly Jr. Joseph, so this could be a huge swing for New Mexico here.
Third on Gatorexi. Joseph missed at the rim. Utah State had a famous 5-point possession last year on the road. And hard to the rim. Albury, that's a big 4-point swing.
He is a downhill driver. Remember, Albury and Drake Allen are different players.
Another foul called underneath on Gatorexi. He just got his 3rd, and now he got his 4th. A minute and a half into the second half, their starting center has 4 personal fouls.
And if you're New Mexico, you want to stay out of the bonus to start, but you want to get it in on offense.
But the Lobos can't take advantage. Missed 3. So Carson Templin's out there, but he has 2 personals. Loose ball on the deck. Who got it? It's timeout. Granted possession by Templin for the Aggies. And you see Albury comes away holding his hand. Templin was granted the timeout with possession of the basketball.
Yeah, looked like Albury got the ball poked away from him, and as he was diving for this basketball, it looked like someone fell on his right wrist. It looked, you see it right here? I hope he's going to be okay.
Utah State starting point guard Dayton Albury is on the Aggie bench. So for now, see what happened to Albury here on this play. I mean, inadvertent clearly, but got tangled up with Joseph's foot or ankle. So now for Utah State, you have your starting center on the bench with 4 personal fouls, and your starting point guard Dayton Albury on the bench with injury on that right hand for now. But this is an Aggie team built by the bench. They're in position. They play multiple point guards anyway, so Drake Allen in the run point right now.
And Drake had 9 points off the bench in the first half. You notice they're trapping him now. They're not allowing him to turn that corner.
Martinez, oh, that's possession arrow. Yeah, a little wedgie ball. The flange comes into play. Deep in the rule book, the flange.
But you notice the adjustment on the pick and rolls with Drake Allen involved in the pick and roll. You saw that trap almost near half court. They don't want Drake Allen to turn the corner, so that's an adjustment by New Mexico here in the second half.
And a reminder for the Lobos, they're playing without Mustafa Omsil, their 3rd leading scorer, who led them with 16 points in the win in Logan. Unable to go, plantar fasciitis, right foot. He misses his 2nd game out of 3. So Lobos shorthanded right now, the Aggies shorthanded as well. Borovichinen drops it off. Milicevic, shot fake triple, trying to follow his miss. Boarded by True Washington, but a foul is called. And Richard Pitino is hot with a foul called on True Washington.
But if you notice, Carter, with my keys to the game, I know we're going to revisit it at some point. New Mexico is 3 for 12 from the 3-point line. Against this packet-in Utah State zone that tries to force you to beat them over the top, you got to loosen up your zone with some threes.
They are the least reliant on the 3-point in Mountain West Conference play, but only 3 for 12 shooting. So more attempts, less efficiency from the Lobos. Cano feeds it into Templin. Banging with Joseph. Templin turns. Joseph into the hands of Washington. Good stop for New Mexico.
And you see the difference in philosophy and strategy. New Mexico is not going to double team any post-up player for Utah State.
Joseph on the catch, fouled by Templin. Third personal on Carson Templin. It's on the floor.
And we played a little over 3 minutes, and again, we got to keep our eyes on the fouls for Utah State. They're
3 team fouls plus all the personal trouble. Dent misses a 3, so make it 3 for 13 3-point shooting for New Mexico. That's what did the Aggies in the first meeting, doing the Lobos in right now. That was touched, back into the hands of Allen. Dent comes out to guard Martinez, trying to tip it away. Joseph hedges out and gets a foul. That is the third on Nelly Jr. Joseph on the hard hedge.
Now, it's going to be very important for Utah State against these double teams right here. You got to get rid of the basketball. Quick pivot and pass. You can't over dribble because you're playing 3-on-2 on the backside. Somebody's open right now.
Leaves Joseph out there. Martinez in the corner over Dent. Guarded by Borovichinen. Washington in tight. Joseph seals it off, and Washington off the window.
And that's a glorified assist for Nelly Jr. Joseph for sealing in the paint so that his defender won't move over and help and try to take a charge.
That was touched, and we're going to say Aggie basketball. Nope, no. Well, we're going to get a discussion as to whose basketball this is. For now, Aggie basketball. Utah State with a 7-point lead. Washington leading the Lobo comeback. Top 2 in the Mountain West. Richard Pitino's New Mexico Lobos trail Utah State by 7 as we take a look at the Jeep AP Top 10. Rick Pitino's St. John's Red Storm still atop the Big East with a 79-73 win over Creighton. And then Auburn off the win at Alabama. Arkansas next. That's a big opportunity game for the Razorbacks, shall we say. And then Houston has now won 13 straight on the road. They're on the road again at Arizona State. Well, lots of fun this year for the Pitinos with the Red Storm rising in the Big East, and Richard Pitino coaching the Lobos to the top of the Mountain West Conference. And he just says, I want my dad to be healthy and happy, and at age 72 he is. So respect basketball coach to basketball coach, the son, the father for sure.
And we could very well be talking about the coach of the year in both the Big East and the Mountain West with the same last name.
Right, I mean, this would be a monumental day for the Pitino family with Rick and St. John's winning over Creighton to remain atop the Big East. And if Richard Pitino's Lobos can come back in the second half, it'll be quite a day in the Pitino family. Allen launches a 3 with the shot clock winding down. Martinez runs it down for the offensive board.
Now Utah State, they're getting a little bit more of a 5 out here. Here it is, 5 out, dribble handoff, and now they'll get serious right now.
Allen brings a tiki out. Joseph is on the bench. Allen in the paint, floats it, missed it. Rebound corralled by Milicevic after a bobble.
Boy, if they just had a little bit more confidence in their post-up game, especially with Johnston posting up deep.
Here goes Dent, off the glass. Donovan Dent, first points of the second half. He needs to make a push.
And you kind of feel like New Mexico needs to get this crowd into the game a little bit more, that they're ready to explode if they give them a reason to.
Falslev, cut off, draws the double. Whip it around, Johnson launches the 3. Hasn't hit one today. Long rebound, Milicevic runs it down again, and a foul is called on Tucker Anderson. Already the 4th team foul on the Aggies.
Give Utah State's bench credit, man. They're outscoring New Mexico's 18-1. Beautiful move here, change of pace. This Donovan Dent so fundamentally sound, he can finish with his left hand.
Falslev tips it, but Borovichinen in there on the catch. Dent off the high screen from Atiki, hits the deck, foul called. It is on Olbury, who is back into the game for Utah State. So good sign for the Aggies as Olbury's back in there after he hurt his hand about 4 minutes ago, but he gets the foul. And now 5 team fouls on Utah State. That's a long way to go. 14-13, 5 team fouls, 2 away from putting him in the bonus. Dent drops it off. Atiki can't handle it. Loose ball. Falslev runs it down for Utah State. He bobbles, gathers, and hits for his first bucket of the second half. Defense to offense.
Yeah, and they've just struggled in Mexico a little bit when they brought Atiki into the game. You know, remember early in the game, you got a foul. Missed that short pass right there from Dent.
Washington bumped, counted, and one. Chance at a three-point play for True Washington. Falslev now with 14 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, and this is his 4th steal.
But this is why, you know what, he's 13th in the nation in steals, leads the Mountain West. He will pick your pocket. And True Washington getting downhill left-handed.
16 points from the free throw line, make it 17. That has been the major factor keeping the Lobos in the game. You just pointed out, Avery.
16 fouls for Utah State. New Mexico shooting free throws the rest of the way. On the next foul.
Olbury has 3 personal fouls, attacks anyway, lost it out of bounds. Looks like the Aggies keep it, and indeed they will, out of bounds off of New Mexico. Olbury picked up his 2nd and 3rd in a hurry. Good D from Atiki, that is not reviewable. Utah State, baseline inbound to Martinez.
Utah State takes pride in running their below out of bounds plays with efficiency.
Crossover, Martinez couldn't finish. Tapped out, Dent has it. Anderson is down for the Aggies. He took one to the eye. So 5-on-4 right now. Into the corner, Milicevic 3. Tap out. Atiki went over the back. Foul called on Atiki, Ali Atiki.
Excellent box out by Martinez with the bigger Atiki trying to climb over his back. He was real physical, Martinez, in that situation. Those are the plays that impress me. I know we're in the three-point shooting era of basketball, but all those little plays like that.
The box out.
I love the box out.
Fundamental.
A wing player on a backup center.
Get your backside on somebody.
Yes. Good word. Good choice of words.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Oh, stolen away. Hitting the deck. And it is out of bounds off of Washington. Aggie basketball. Donovan Dent disagrees.
And remember, we talked about True Washington. They call him Mr. Pick Six. He's another steals guy on and off the basketball.
And he's hit that magic number, double digits. They are 15-0 when double digit scoring from True Washington.
Yeah, and they want Washington on the primary ball handler.
Johnson, Washington nearly stole it. Johnson gets it back. 5 to shoot. Dayton Olbury spins. May have walked. Offensive rebound. Shot clock is reset. Foul is called. Aggies headed to the free throw line, trying to extend the 4-point lead.
I tell you what, though, there's no surrender from Dayton Olbury. The 6'2" senior, he's driving the basketball, breaking the defense down. He's relentless, sticking with it.
Richard saw when we saw Olbury could have been called for a walk, but instead he's to the free throw line. Braden Appelhans called for the foul. His minutes have been cut for the Lobos, but without Mustafa Amsil, they need Appelhans to play some minutes. Olbury misses the first.
And the fans are voicing their displeasure with the referees, but I think that was the PG version.
Right.
Somewhat, right?
I mean, you can't say the Lobo fans are not knowledgeable and passionate about basketball. First free throw miss by Utah State. Overy misses them both. Tiki has the board. Dent off his foot. It was off of Overy's foot, so New Mexico keeps it.
And Utah State was 11 for 11 at the free throw line.
That is correct.
Before those two misses.
That's right. But the glaring number for New Mexico, 3 for 14 from 3 when you said they needed 10 plus against the matchup zone.
And if they don't get accomplished to 10 threes, it's
long. Tiki couldn't finish, hits the deck hard. Basket interference. Utah State ball. I believe that's called basket interference on a Tiki. Oh, Richard Pitino walked away rather than getting a tee.
They kind of hung on the basket with his left hand. I think he was trying to brace himself
for the fall, which is allowed. Martinez, back up. Overy finishes. Another big 4-point swing in Utah State's favor. Dent attacks on the baseline. Whoa for Donovan Dent. A friendly one here at the pit.
And Dent, no expression, great body language. He just continues to play and play.
Martinez, back cut, couldn't hit Falslev. It is out of bounds off of Appelhans, and it will be Aggie basketball. The top 2 teams in the Mountain West. Just a 4-point game.
Nice little back cut here. I love this Utah State. And here, Donovan Dent. My Mountain West Player of the Year. Utah State by 4.
Today we honor Michael Cooper, one of the most decorated athletes in New Mexico history. First team All-American for the Lobos. Then he won 5 titles with the Showtime Lakers. Inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2024. His number 21 retired by the Lakers in January. During the month of February, CBS Sports celebrates Black history, recognizing its influence on our culture and society. One of the game's great defensive players, Michael Cooper.
If we could give him a standing ovation. Michael Cooper was unbelievable. Defender, 5 championships with the Lakers, and I'm glad that he had a chance to grace this campus here at New Mexico.
We got to know him a little bit in the Big 3 time, right?
Yeah, a little bit in the Big 3. One of the coaches, along with guys like Dr. J and Gary Payton.
Utah State blew a huge home lead on February 1 when the Lobos closed it out on the road. Now they're trying to return the favor. Falslev, he walked, foul called.
Yeah,
hook. Offensive foul on Carson Templin. That is his 4th personal foul. So the foul called on Templin. Both Gadaretsi and Templin, the 2 main centers for Utah State, have 4 fouls. Isaac Johnson will come back with 3 personals.
Yeah, a little bit of an illegal seal on that drive, trying to create some space for Falslev to drive.
Joseph back on the floor with 3. He played through foul trouble against Wyoming and got the game-clinching block. Washington turns the corner, hits just the 4th, made 3 of the game for the Lobos. New Mexico back within 1.
Yeah, New Mexico's got to play through Dent and Washington every time now on the floor. Can't be a possession now on the floor where they're not pounding the basketball, trying to create some offense for New Mexico.
Templin still out there with 4. Falslev spins. Here's Templin. It's a 3, missed. Fight for the loose ball. Overy into the bench. It's out of bounds off of Dayton Overy as he crashes into his teammates. New Mexico ball.
Again, we notice New Mexico loves to screen, pick and roll, man-to-man, it doesn't matter. That's Nelly Jr. Joseph Rowe. You are a pick and roll player. It doesn't matter what the defense is showing you. They'll try to get him deep early in transition on seals, but now here comes another pick and roll. He didn't use it.
Borovichinen misses the 3 that would have given him the lead. Appelhans fouled on the stick back. The redshirt sophomore who was called on to play a big because of the injury to Mustafa Seal on the offensive glass to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Yeah, and I'm behind you. Know he has the ability to shoot the three, but this time he moved his game inside. Only played 3 minutes the last game, but because of, the injury situation to Amsil, he's got to play a few more minutes.
Appelhans has only shot 11 free throws this year. He's 8 for 11, 1-and-1. We're tied for the 12th time, but the first time in the second half. Lobos on top. Our 9th lead change comes with 10:19 to go. Washington, it is off his foot. Off of Allen. New Mexico ball.
If you're Utah State and you're trying to inbound the basketball, I would inbound the ball to someone that Drew Washington is not defending or guarding.
7-0 run in a hurry. A minute and a half, a 7-0 run to give the Lobos the lead. The first place team in the Mountain West. Washington lost the handle. Scooped by Allen. He took a bump and a foul called on True Washington, his third.
And you notice in a situation like that, yes, Washington turned the ball over. You didn't see Coach Patino animated. He's like, okay, I love the aggression. We as coaches, certain turnovers aggravate us a little bit more than others. But this kid's been playing his heart out. You got to give him a little rope.
5 team fouls on the Lobos after the big early advantage foul-wise in the second half, starting to even out.
And they understand what type of lift that Drake Allen gave Utah State in the first half, and that's why Washington is matched up on him.
And he hasn't scored in the second half. Johnson in because of the foul trouble. Martinez beat inside. Volslev gathers. What a catch. And then the finish. Aggies back on top.
Man, it's really impressive how Volslev plays inside.
Plays bigger than 6'3", doesn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals for Volslev. Washington thought about it at the elbow. Borovichinen off the shot fake. Volslev digs down, fouls on the floor, but who is it on? It's on Martinez.
Man, if we can run that one back. In that situation, Nelly Jr. Joseph, he's got to have the ball. On that reverse, he's in the paint. They got to pass the ball inside to the big fella in that situation.
Well, the good news for Utah State, the foul's on Ian Martinez, which is just his first, and not on Mason Volslev, which would have been his fourth. So here's Borovichinen to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. He has struggled shooting, but he knocks down the front end.
And see, here's the next best thing, which could have been my B clause of New Mexico making threes. You're not going to make a high-level threes. You have to dominate the free throw line. You have to double up on attempts at the free throw line, which they've done.
The top 2 centers for Utah State both have 4 personal fouls. Isaac Johnson playing right now at the 5 with 3 personal fouls. A back-and-forth battle atop the Mountain West. Volslev tried to dump it off. It's straight into the hands of Donovan Dent. Presses ahead, knocked away. Lobos keep it. Cano knocked it away from Dent.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I thought Isaac Johnson got tripped on that last play, and the refs missed that one. That should have been a foul.
They're all big right now. Joseph with 3 personal fouls. Again, he played through foul trouble.
Jump hook here.
Turns around off the glass. Largest lead of the game for New Mexico, bringing the sellout crowd at the pit to their feet. Johnson catches down the baseline, drops it off, kick out, falls left, left alone for 3. Johnson, stick back, on the offensive glass, Isaac Johnson.
Excellent offensive rebound put back by Johnson. When that ball goes up, all 5 guys got to box out. Oh.
Back into Joseph. Takes it right at Johnson. Back-to-back buckets for Nelly Jr. Joseph.
And remember, with Dent and Nelly Jr. Joseph, it's the best big man guard combination in the Mountain West Conference.
They've combined for 27. Martinez off the bounce on Dent. Cut up by Joseph. Arcano fouled on the perimeter with 9 to shoot. So Nelly Jr. Joseph taking over.
This feels like an NCAA tournament game today in Albuquerque. And Nelly Jr. Joseph and Donovan Dent Washington are 3 reasons why.
In a 3-point game, we revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by Stanley Steamer.
Limit your turnovers was a big point of emphasis for Utah State. 11 turnovers, not too good. Transition defense has been excellent for New Mexico. They're 4 for 13. They're 4 for 16 from 3. So they've struggled from 3, but they've dominated the free throw line. And then steals, they've gotten 6 today. They average about 9, second in the Mountain West Conference.
Heard Richard Pitino tell John Rothstein on his podcast this week, the defensive commitment by True Washington has led to offensive production. Certainly the case in this game.
Yeah, here's the phenomenal defense, but this offense, pick and roll offense, stop behind the 3, spot up 3s. He's been terrific today.
In addition to the scoring 17 points, has 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocked shots. Dent and Washington both have 2 blocks. Lobos are top 25 in both blocks and steals in the country.
Got to get the ball in.
Just barely. Martinez hits it in the corner. So they beat the 5-second count, and Martinez hits the triple to tie.
And that's the second easiest place to get a shot when you're taking the ball out. First is the lob or inside the paint, and then the strong side corner.
Borovicanin has an answer. Ila Borovicanin, the junior from Serbia. New Mexico back up by 2.
And see all those little small, what I call special situations, that was a special situation for Utah State, and boy, they executed.
Washington gets his 3rd steal, but he stepped on the sideline. I believe so. Stepped on the sideline.
Because Utah State has multiple ball handlers, it's going to be beneficial for them to maybe get Drake Allen off the ball a little bit, because you don't want to mess around with True Washington right now.
Dent getting into the hands of Martinez. Falslev off a good screen. Air ball. Pulled away by Joseph. Lobo fans let him know. Stepping in for the 3. Donovan Dent, first made 3 of the game for the Mountain West Conference leading scorer. Largest lead of the game for the Lobos. They've come from 10 down to lead it by 5. Falslev attacks off the window, count it, and a foul.
There's so many words to describe Falslev. Determination, tenacity. This kid is physical. He plays bigger than his size. He's relentless. He never gives up.
Versus New Mexico in the first meeting, he had a season-low 4 points as he finishes off that 3-point play. 19 for Mason Falslev, including the first 7 of the game for Utah State.
You talking about some real high-level guard play between Dent, Washington, Falslev, in the first half, Drake Allen.
Dent from the elbow, Joseph catches it, Joseph rolls off, but he's headed to the free throw line. Joseph there to bail out Donovan Dent. 5, and Gattaretzi is fouled out. So he got his fourth at the 18:27 mark of the second half, and now his fifth with 6:08 to go.
And then Isaac Johnson, they still have him available, but he has 3 fouls.
He does?
Yeah.
Templin has 4, though. So Gadaretse, the first to foul out for Utah State of the big men who have played through foul trouble the entire game.
Yeah.
Joseph misses the second. Falslev has the rebound. Allen hasn't scored in the second half. Mismatch here is Joseph on the wing on Allen. So Allen beats him right to the hole, takes advantage of the big man defending him.
Yeah, breaking down the defense here, finishing. It's nothing like finishing your layups.
First points of the second half for Allen after he had 9 off the bench in the first.
Yeah, you'll have to keep our eyes in this situation on Templin with the four fouls. I can see Isaac Johnson finishing this game at the 5 spot.
Falslev has another steal. Aggies run again. Allen misses at the rim this time. Borovichinen brings it back into the hands of Donovan Dent.
You got to get the ball moving from side to side against this zone.
Washington splits the top of the matchup zone and banks it home to give the Lobos a 3-point lead.
And see, that was smart on Donovan Dent's part. He didn't have anything on the left side of the floor, moved it to Washington on the other side, and then Washington attacked.
True Washington had 15 Wednesday against Wyoming, 19 in this game. Martinez dumps it off. Templin couldn't handle it. Lost it out of bounds. Lobo basketball.
And that was the right play. That was the right play. Martinez probably put a little bit of too much sauce on that one, or more, a little bit of a fastball. He's got to take something off of it.
Green chili or red chili sauce is the question.
Red.
Dent off the bounce. Cano cuts him off. Now Dent, the 2-man game with Joseph. Templin knocks it away. Loose ball, tie up, possession arrow will give it to Utah State. Now it's Utah State ball. So poked away from Dent.
Yep, that was excellent defense by Utah State. That was no foul, no harm, no foul in that situation. He's got to take better care of the basketball, which is one of the few random mistakes by Donovan Dent.
10 steals today for Utah State. They lead the Mountain West Conference in steals. They force a turnover on a 5th of their opponent's possessions.
This is that walk-away screen.
Martinez catch. Dent right there with him on the catch. Long rebound, run down by Allen. He beat Joseph to the ball. Falslev from the elbow, floats it. Back to a 1-point game, 21 in the game for Falslev.
Yeah, and if you're Nelly Jr. Joseph in those situations, you can't assume anything. You have to grab the basketball. You got to have a little bit more urgency in that situation.
Allen beats one of the nation's best rebounders for the ball. Washington has an answer. 21 in the game now for True Washington. That matches his career high.
Yeah, excellent drive by Washington. They really haven't solved his pick and roll game against that zone.
Timeout on the next dead ball. Both teams tired. Cano ripped away. Lobos run again. Borovichinen finds a trailing Dent, steps in for the 3. Buries it, sending the pit into delirium. Soak it in, Donovan Dent. Timeout, Utah State. Coming up next, head out to the court and catch the Indy Ignite taking on the Atlanta Vibe in a Pro Volleyball Federation matchup right here on CBS Sports Network. First serve, 6:08 Eastern. For those of you tuning in, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it begins. And of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game.
Speaking of igniting vibe, it's great when you can ignite your defense and create some offense and create an unbelievable vibe here in the pit with Mr. Double D, Donovan Dent.
The game has been sold out for weeks. 15,500 plus here at the pit, hoping to root on New Mexico. They were down by 10 early in the second half. Trying to stay atop the Mountain West Conference. Stolen away. Washington has another steal. Drops it out. Borovichinen swatted. Martinez called for the foul. Borovichinen headed to the free throw line. New Mexico wants the basket counted, but it will not.
We just talked about it. You caught my play on words, ignite and vibe.
Right, exactly.
Same thing, back-to-back for New Mexico. Generating some quality offense. Their magnificent defense.
Looks like we'll have a review as to whether that was goaltending.
You know, a beautiful thing about this game for New Mexico, this is the second time this season in Mountain West Conference play where New Mexico's had 2 players with 20 points. The last time on January 3rd of this year, Dent and Joseph had 20 points against Nevada.
What'd you think? Clean? I think it's clean.
That's clean.
I mean, looked like Martinez got it before it hit the backboard. That's the big question. Again, a foul is called, so it's just a question of whether it was goaltend, count the bucket, and one situation with a foul on Martinez. But the original call was don't count the bucket. Our officials will get together. Mike Littlewood, Jason Phillips, Michael Irving.
Tell you what, Carter, these fans, nobody's going to leave the pit today saying that this game wasn't entertaining and they didn't get their money's worth.
After review, no goaltending.
Call stands. You know, Richard Pitino talks about this is a program that is elite but has never made the Sweet 16. They've actually been in the final 16, but you have to go all the way back to 1974 for the last time that New Mexico was in the final 16 in the NCAA tournament. It was a 25-team tournament that year. It was the last year that at-large bids weren't allowed into the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, it has been an elite program, but NCAA tournament success, the big hindrance for Lobo basketball, that's the next big step for New Mexico.
I believe there's something special about this New Mexico team this year. This team has Sweet 16 written all over it.
Last year, they made it to the tournament for the first time in a decade. False led 3. That was the unlikely tournament run in Las Vegas. This year looking like an at-large. Right now trying to stay atop the Mountain West. Joseph with an exclamation point off the look from True Washington. Timeout. Jared Calhoun and Utah State. Much like it was in Logan, a late explosion by New Mexico to pull away from Utah State. The Indy Ignite Atlanta 5 volleyball match is underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. 7-point lead for New Mexico on February 1 at the Spectrum. It was a 43-15 run by the Lobos late to take command. 40-23 the run in this game since it was a 10-point Aggie lead.
And 40-27 in the second half.
Again, this game was 46-36, 59 seconds into the second half. And since then, the Lobos have been in command, just like in meeting number 1.
I think Utah State still has one big push in them right here. This team doesn't get rattled.
They've had remarkable comebacks this year. Martinez hits the 3. Back they come again. Down by 4.
And just what I thought. Nice little 3 coming out of a timeout.
Little pressure on the ball. Lobos beat the pressure. With Utah State.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Utah State is Sweet 16 quality. This is a very good organized, just like New Mexico, well-coached team. I love watching these teams in their practices and shoot-around.
Dent, late clock, throws it away into the hands of Acano. Run out, Acano, he's fouled. Rolls off the rim, but he's headed to the free throw line. Stopping the clock with 1:31, and Acano headed to the line.
12th steal today for Utah State.
But Utah State has had remarkable come-from-behind wins. Down 18 to win at San Diego State. Down 13 to win versus Boise State. 17 Fresno State. So this one won't be as dramatic point-wise if they can pull it off. But a second chance on the tip-out. Martinez triple tied at 76. The Aggies rally in a hurry.
And remember what Fosliff told us on yesterday? He said, we love each other. We don't have one bad apple on this team. If we're down, we don't point fingers. And boy, are they demonstrating exactly what he told us on yesterday.
A 7-0 run in 43 seconds. Dent can't hit. Tapped up. Joseph back into the hands of Dent. Reset to 20 on the shot clock. So inside of a minute. Washington fouled by Acano, sending True Washington to the free throw line where he's 4 of 5.
Whenever you get a tip out on an offensive rebound, especially on the free throw, bad things happen. And here's the bad thing that happened for New Mexico. Martinez knocks down the three.
So New Mexico erases a 10-point second half lead by Utah State, and now the Aggies erase a 7-point lead by the Lobos in just over a minute. Washington gets the first.
And you see, this is a primary reason when you score or you go on a little bit of a 5-0 run, 7-2 run, you can't celebrate because your opponent is capable of erasing that lead very quickly.
Missed the second. Rebound Martinez. Aggies a chance to take the lead with under a minute to go. In the face of the packed pit. Martinez guarded by Dent.
Here's that motion offense trying to get Fosliff off of a curl.
Long two. Rebound for Milicevic. You see the differential of about 7 seconds.
You definitely do not have to foul here.
Dent in no rush for the Lobos.
And if I'm New Mexico, if it's not Dent, I'm getting this ball to Washington in a pick and roll situation. Here comes the trap.
Allen pressures. Borovicin. Shot clock winding down. Here's Washington for 3. Buries it. New Mexico by 4. Last chance for Utah State. Allen dumps it off. False leg. 3. Hits it. Stopping the clock with 3.6. Dent. Timeout. Richard Pitino still has 2 timeouts remaining. Dent gets the timeout. 3.6.
So Washington knocks down the 3. And then, again, we got the celebration in transition. And New Mexico doesn't get matched up. And right back at them. The same thing we just finished saying a few minutes ago.
All right, so Utah State down by 1. New Mexico ball. Utah State does not have a timeout. How do you approach this if you're Jared Calhoun for the Aggies?
First of all, I'm putting somebody on the ball. Make sure somebody's on the ball. Trying to make everything, you keep everything in front. You don't want any long passes. And then once the ball comes in, you have to foul immediately.
Double bonus. So New Mexico has 2 shots on any foul, but the big glaring number now, 12 steals in the game for Utah State. There's been an adjustment on the clock from 3.6 to 4.0.
Yeah, because even you really don't want to try to force
back on the clock.
A tie up here because New Mexico has the possession. So if the ball comes in, you have to foul quickly. If you're New Mexico, you can't hide from this on this press offense. You can't hide. You have to make yourself available. Look like they're going to run Nelly Jr. Joseph down the floor here, and Washington is going to speed to the ball. Denton, Washington, they'll use their speed trying to get open.
Borovichinen will inbound. It's off a made basket, so he can run the baseline. There's Acano guarding the inbounder. 4 seconds, no timeouts for Utah State, 2 for New Mexico.
Look to get the ball to Washington here.
Borovichinen, timeout. And 1 remaining for New Mexico. Well, both Borovichinen and Richard Pitino. The coach can signal a timeout late in the game from the bench, but both using a timeout. 1 remaining for the Lobos. And don't forget about the possession arrow favoring New Mexico. That could be big in the last 4 seconds.
And this is where you need a little bit of a misdirection. For example, you can utilize some sort of misdirection with 2 guys going to one side of the floor, and the person that you want to get this ball to, keep him isolated on one side of the floor. Because even if he's not open, he can go backdoor down the floor.
Utah State 4-2 in the tight games. I mean, this was the incredible finish. Utah State's Ian Martinez fouled on a 3-point shot against Boise State. It bounces off the rim. He finishes off the 4-point play. Aggies win by 2. Then Didon Thomas, the fadeaway jumper as UNLV beats Utah State. And then the 5-point halftime deficit versus Wyoming. 11 off the bench from Allen. And now Utah State trying to do it again.
And Isaac Johnson, number 20, is in the game on the ball. You got to get the ball to one of these dynamic guards.
Into 10.
There it is.
And he's fouled finally, but 0.8 showing. It looked like Allen went for the foul. We will double check the timing on that, but Allen missed the chance to foul Dent, and then finally given with 0.8 showing on the clock.
See, that's exactly what I was talking about. You see that New Mexico cleared out one side, brought the 2 bigs down the floor, and look at Dent right here. He's isolated. He can win that matchup against Allen.
Reviewing the time.
They're going to review the time and maybe put a couple ticks back up there, but the point remains. Allen goes for the steal. Johnson slow to give the foul, and those precious ticks are away. Even if it's 0.8, no matter what happens in the free throw situation, double bonus. Utah State, they're going to put 1.7. That's a lot back on the clock.
That's a lot.
1.7.
Wow.
Sure is. A 1.7.
Wow, we're past the holiday season. That's a gift.
0.8 to 1.7, big difference. And again, Utah State, no timeouts. 1 for New Mexico. Dent going to the free throw line for 2. And the double bonus.
1.4 on the game clock.
1.4 officially on the clock. You see the free throws in the second half. That's a big difference in a 1-point game, +7 in the second half from the line.
Important that you and I had a game on Wednesday.
We did.
We've seen crazier things happen. So let's see what happens on this free throw before we talk about whether they're up 2 or 3.
10 hits the first, 2-point game.
Now Utah State, they'll have one of their plays set up where they'll try to get the ball somewhere around half court on a baseball pass.
Dent gets them both. New Mexico by 3. Milicevic will guard the inbounder. Bolslev runs the baseline. There's Martinez. He eats it. It's blocked by Donovan Dent to clinch the win for New Mexico as the Lobos remain atop the Mountain West Conference. Donovan Dent seals it with the block with zeros on the clock.
Very limited options in this situation. You can't really shot fake. You can't dribble the basketball. Basically has to catch and shoot. And Mr. Double D, Donovan Dent, with the block shot.
23 points and his 3rd block of the game to seal it. New Mexico is now 14-1 in the Mountain West Conference. Utah State falls to 12-3. Just their 2nd road loss of the season. The Lobos have now won 15 of 16 since their home loss to New Mexico State. Lobos atop the Mountain West Conference with a dramatic 82-79 win over Utah State. For Avery Johnson, our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. After the break, we'll send you to the Pro Volleyball Federation match between the Indy Ignite and Atlanta Vibe in Duluth, Georgia. So long from Albuquerque.